Long before central heating, electric radiators, or even simple stoves became commonplace, people faced winter as a life-or-death challenge. Cold wasn't just uncomfortable, it could be deadly. Frostbite, hypothermia, and relentless shivering were constant threats, especially in regions where fuel was scarce or expensive. Yet, through centuries of trial, error, and observation, a simple yet astonishingly effective solution emerged: the clay pot heater. This unassuming invention could turn a flickering candle or a small handful of charcoal into hours of stable warmth. It wasn't just a survival hack. It was a demonstration of how careful observation of materials and natural forces could transform everyday life. Before we dive deeper into the mechanics, if you enjoy uncovering lost historical technologies, practical survival methods, and forgotten skills that shaped human history, take a moment now to like this video, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe to The Hard Past. We're bringing these lessons straight from history to your screens, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. At the heart of the clay pot heater lies a principle that engineers and survivalists still respect today: thermal mass. Clay absorbs and stores heat far more efficiently than air and often better than metal, allowing a small, brief heat source to warm an entire space over an extended period. The setup was deceptively simple. A medium-sized clay pot, typically 6 to 10 inches in diameter, would rest above a candle, small oil lamp, or glowing charcoal on a trivet or heat-resistant stand. As the flame burned, the pot walls absorbed energy, slowly radiating it outward into the room. The heat was gentle, stable, and surprisingly enduring, often lasting for several hours without adding more fuel. Historical records from Europe, the Middle East, and East Asia show this method in widespread use. Soldiers in cold barracks, homesteaders in drafty cabins, and families in damp winter conditions all relied on this technique to survive bitter nights. Unlike an open flame that heats only a small area or a stove that concentrates warmth unevenly, the clay pot heater created an environment where warmth was distributed evenly. Floors, furniture, and walls absorbed the radiant energy, further stabilizing temperatures. Resourceful households did not stop at just a single pot. Nesting smaller pots inside larger ones, separated by sand, ash, or even fine gravel, became a pretty common modification. The inner pot would contain the flame, while the outer pot absorbed heat, extending burn time and, amplifying the area that was warmed. Some designs even incorporated small air holes to maintain a steady flame, while others used metal rods to safely suspend the inner pots. Every detail, honestly, aimed to maximize warmth without consuming extra fuel. This layered approach also demonstrated an advanced understanding of insulation and airflow, centuries before these concepts were, formalized in modern engineering. The real brilliance of the clay pot heater lies in how it combined radiant and convective heat. The clay walls radiated warmth to nearby objects and surfaces, while the air slowly circulated around the room, gently raising the ambient temperatures. This combination, it ensured consistent comfort, even in spaces that were prone to drafts. It wasn't just heating. It was environmental management. Folks who mastered this technique could create a surprisingly cozy atmosphere using minimal resources, which honestly is a principle that still resonates with modern off-grid living or emergency preparedness. What makes the clay pot heater particularly fascinating is really its universality. Medieval European households, nomadic communities in the Middle East and East Asian homes all documented similar methods. Fuel sources varied according to local availability: candles, charcoal, animal fat, or even small embers. But the underlying principles always remained constant. The designs adapted, sure, but the result was always the same: an efficient, long-lasting heat source that required little attention and minimal fuel. This was survival, refined into art through observation, experimentation, and, well, necessity. Today, recreating a clay pot heater is, honestly, pretty straightforward. Any thick, fire-resistant ceramic or terracotta pot will work just fine. You simply place a small flame on a safe, heat-proof stand, and then position the pot above it. For the layered versions, you can fill the gaps between nested pots with sand or gravel. This helps maintain stable heat and protects the inner pot. Now, ventilation is absolutely critical, especially when you're using charcoal or animal fat. And of course, open flames must never be left unattended. With these precautions in mind, a clay pot heater can warm a small space for hours, all while using just a fraction of the fuel that modern electric heaters consume. Beyond its practical function, the clay pot heater actually teaches us a vital lesson. Simplicity often outperforms complexity. The people who relied on this method weren't just improvising blindly. They really understood their materials, thermal dynamics, and efficiency. They applied science without textbooks, creating solutions that endured for centuries. Whether you're a survival enthusiast, a history buff, or just someone curious about forgotten technologies, the clay pot heater is a masterclass in ingenuity and observation. It's a reminder that careful study, resourcefulness, and a respect for natural principles can solve problems we still encounter today. For anyone looking to explore historical techniques that are both practical and honestly pretty inspiring, the clay pot heater is a rare gem. It bridges the gap between survival, physics, and cultural history. And as you experiment with these methods, remember, history is not just about what people did, but why they did it, and how much we can still learn from them. If this deep dive into ancient heating methods intrigued you, make sure to subscribe to The Hard Past, share this video with friends who love practical history, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another exploration of lost knowledge that still works today. Every lesson from the past is a tool for the present, and the clay pot heater proves that even the simplest solutions can be extraordinary.